Next on the Best of John Miller, it looks like an 8-foot-long shoe, and just like a shoe,
0 to 60, how fast?
In 4 seconds.
this very unusual car is taking people places. Speaking of heading places, a high school basketball player from Boise just announced where she's headed for college. We'll take a look back 8 years to the days when this star was just the Cracker Jack in blue. Also, Phil Knappel is one heck of a produce picker.
So they call you the Melon Man?
I guess.
From peppers to melons and everything in between, but something else grows in Phil's garden, a bushel of generosity. And we tracked down a Treasure Valley man who in fact lost his wallet in a smashing place.
Discover the lighter side of Northwest living as Idaho's News Channel 7 presents the Best of John Miller.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. All right, I got a question for you. Are you the type that likes to drive a car that creates just a little twinge of envy in your family and friends? You know, like me, I've got a Yugo. Hey, don't laugh. What other car in America can you double its value simply by filling it with a tank of gas? Yeah. John found out what just might be, though, the ultimate head turner.
One look at the wheels or the handles or the headlights won't make you wonder about the Tango. It's when you see Rick and Brian Woodbury's ride from the side or the back, rolling down the road, not unlike a file cabinet. Right, so how wide are we?
39 inches.
39
And
inches.
just a little less than a meter.
Just about 8 feet long, just what the doctor ordered when there's no room for your car, because there's always room for this two-seater, which is mostly the reason Rick and son Brian built it.
It doesn't make any sense to have single occupant cars taking up a whole lane when a half-size car could do it. Why have traffic jams when you don't need them?
And why use gas when you can go electric? You can juice up a Tango in as little as 10 minutes. So they painted it Ferrari red. I think that's great. Couldn't forget the cup holder.
Yeah, it does get a lot of excitement.
So you get sports car enthusiasts who probably turn up their nose and go, this golf cart cannot beat me.
I love to meet them at a stoplight.
0 to 60, how fast?
In 4 seconds.
Sweet.
The way it's geared, it'll do 130 miles an hour, and we figured it's very important that it doesn't have any tendency to tip over at all. So we went to the extreme, putting in 25 batteries and actually 2,000 pounds under the floor so that it would corner like a Porsche as well.
As fun as it is to watch the car, it's almost as fun to watch people watch the car.
It's cute.
Because if they don't come up and say, wow, they certainly think, wow, and want to see what they look like in what could be the world's fastest, funkiest electric car.
So are you planning on trying to mass produce it, or?
Yes, we are.
The Woodburys hoping to shrink the cost of their already shrunken car from somewhere around $80,000 down to around $10,000. That'll depend on how many investors and drivers take notice of the tiny Tango and decide they want to dance.
I think this is what we need.
I got one word for that. Cool. But not for 80 grand. Tango will go 80 miles on a charge, and the Woodburys say it's extremely safe. They even built in a NASCAR roll cage and hope to eventually give the Tango wireless computer access so you can dial up your car to check the batteries or tell it to start warming up on a cold morning. I like the Tango. Boise's Emily Florence is one of a handful of athletes from the state of Idaho who signed a scholarship letter to play sports in college next year. She's headed to the University of Washington. There she's going to play basketball. But when our John Miller discovered Emily, she was an 8-year-old Little League All-Star. And we got an inkling she would end up becoming one of Idaho's all-time best prep athletes.
Maybe you've never heard of the Cracker Jack kid in blue wearing number 2 for the East Boise All-Stars?
I don't know anything about blue number 2.
Well, let me tell you, no one digs in like number 2. No one's quite as ready. In a word, number 2 is...
aggressive.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Because this is a fast game. And no one's faster off the crack of the bat than number 2. Number 2's arm ain't no noodle. No pitcher even likes to face number 2, and no one likes to see this happen. But when it does, no one shakes it off quicker than number 2. And even when the crowd loses its cool,
you guys gotta get it together, huh?
number 2 doesn't. And while it can't be easy to be smaller than number 38 and number 41 and all the rest, number 2 doesn't care. Neither do the 2 parents who proudly wear this picture of number 2, known also as Eliminate-em Emily. Now, maybe it's not that big a deal that 9-year-old Emily Florence made the little boys' all-star team, but maybe it is a big deal that all the little boys voted her on.
Why?
Because she was like one of the best on our team.
Better than most guys?
Yeah. She plays hard.
So it's not surprising she's a coach's favorite.
She deserves to be here. She can play this game right along with the boys.
A fan favorite.
She's the only girl in the league. She's great.
And it's not surprising that this Cracker Jack kid doesn't have much to say about it.
And what's that like playing with all these guys?
I don't know.
But then number 2 doesn't have to.
Even though Emily's sport turned out to be basketball, she's just as good in softball, baseball, and soccer, and she's going to go a long ways in whatever sport she decides is her lifetime sport, and I suspect it'll be all of them. You know, it's challenging enough to play a stringed instrument. Now imagine building one. John Miller introduces us to a man who has a passion for turning an ordinary piece of wood into an extraordinary work of art.
A guitar is the highest and best use of wood, in my opinion. It attacks all the senses, sight, smell, sound, and it's better than a painting because you can pick it up off the wall and play it.
But John Bolin spends very little time playing.
Yeah, I don't particularly pride myself on my playing.
John's experience with the guitar begins long before it's ready for the stage.
We try to use the highest and best wood that we can find. In some of my guitars, there's as many as 280 pieces of wood.
And in his shop, hundreds of tools, chisels, clamps, and handmade braces.
This is bending wood that doesn't want to bend. This is bending wood that won't bend. That's even a better way to put it.
But John has ways of molding and shaping much more than simply building an instrument.
We actually create the guitar. Yes, it's a lot of just personal touch.
It's a long way from here to here, sometimes months before John Bolin gives a guitar his name, and only then, in the back of his shop for just a few minutes, might the maker become the musician.
There's a lot of forethought and patience.
Like playing itself, I imagine.
Yes.
Some very famous musicians like the Space Cowboy, Steve Miller, and ZZ Top used John's instruments. Who says squirrels are skittish around people?
Come on up here.
Later on the Best of John Miller, learn why these adorable rodents are willing to get nose-to-nose with a group of office workers. And produce, hand-picked with love. Some Treasure Valley folks get to enjoy fruits and veggies at the lowest price you'll find anywhere. All right, his friends call him the Melon Man, and we guarantee you that you can't beat Phil Knapple's price for produce, and you won't believe how much he produces. John made it his pick of the crop.
If you had to name one of Middleton's most popular producers, Philip Knapple would be just about the pick of the patch.
That's a few dozen every day.
Yeah, see, that's only 3.
So they call you the Melon Man?
I guess.
What are you growing?
Cantaloupe, watermelon.
And when I stopped by, he just kept right on picking. Must grow a zillion zucchinis.
That's right.
And 500,000 jalapenos.
Yeah, they're real hot.
There must be thousands of tomatoes here.
Oh, have one.
That is a nice looking tomato.
There's some of the long cucumbers.
And eggplant.
There's one there.
Phil kept picking and passing it on.
Oops.
Which leads to the whole point of Philip Knapple's full-time agriculture operation.
How much do you make every year?
All told, before taxes, after all is picked and packed.
Not a dime.
Nice. I should come out and visit you every other day. What are you going to do with all these chili peppers?
Give them away. Cantaloupe, same way.
Watermelon?
Give them away.
So after he finished loading his truck, and mine, he headed off to show me why one guy would go to all this trouble.
Well, I just enjoy it.
You could probably feed the whole county.
Nah.
Just to select several dozen families and some friends around town.
There you be.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Growing and delivering vegetables for no more than a thank you.
It's a good deal.
Your favorite melon man.
Yeah, he's my man.
Phil Knapple's a rare find in his field full of fruits and vegetables.
He really is. He's a neat guy.
Neat guy indeed. Now, Phil's had some health problems lately. He's taken things easier these days and tells us this year's garden was a lot smaller than previous years. Still, he's trying to decide whether or not to grow a garden next year. Still to come, a neighborhood with some pretty pudgy squirrels. And next,
it's mucky, muddy, soupy slop.
building a better ice rink. See what it took to turn a sea of concrete into a cool place to go skating. All right, now we all know how ice is made. You just hit that button on your refrigerator door and then it tumbles into your glass. I mean, everybody knows that. But how do you make an ice rink? There's no button on my refrigerator door for that one. It's been 5 years since the opening of Idaho Ice World in Boise, and as John learned during its construction, building a new rink takes a whole lot of sweat and also a lot of cement too.
It's mucky, muddy, soupy slop.
It's got to be smooth and very flat.
That's why a few dozen guys armed with hoses and hand trowels wait for more than 1 million pounds of concrete to come down the chute and through the tube into what will be Idaho's newest ice rink.
Yeah, everyone's got to work together.
But with truck after truck of slippery slop, the sloppers and shovelers and smoothers emphatically agree.
Who's got the best job of the whole place, would you say?
Him. Yeah, that's a fun job.
The guy on the hockey rink hovercraft.
He's the man. That's got to be the best job.
Swooshing above the slime, not hard to see why they'd rather be in John Gabbard's shoes.
Yeah, it seems to be that way.
How did you get into this?
Just lucky, I guess.
Yeah?
And talented, helping create what they consider
The flattest floor in the world right now.
accurate to 1/8 of an inch all the way across, thanks to lasers that keep the floor from tilting too much this way or that way.
That would be bad.
Yeah, it's got to be flat.
And thanks to John and the guys, they're getting there.
So when it's all done, it'll be smooth skating, huh?
Smooth skating, yes, you got it.
Coming up later, you know, you can recycle glass and cans and cardboard, but what about a billfold?
Yeah, ooh.
See the results when one man inadvertently recycled his wallet. That's after we show you a group of animals with some furry friends that are a little, shall we say, nutty. The Best of John Miller is back after this. I don't think I know anybody who's afraid of squirrels. Colleen on camera, you're not afraid of squirrels, are you? No, of course not. You've got that big, huge camera lens to protect you. But if you're driving in the Boise North End these days, you have to be careful. Squirrels are everywhere. And the girls in one office figure if you can't beat them, feed them, turning one block into a total scene starring Kathy Oberhart and her furry friends, and also John Miller.
Did you know the Boise School District is being run by squirrels?
Come on up here. Come on, baby.
Oh. Okay, so it's being overrun by squirrels.
Up here.
How many do you think you have here? It looks like about
Maybe
18
5.
to me.
No, it's not 18. 5. It's the same 5 running around the tree.
And up to the porch where Kathy Oberhart and the human resources people figured if they left a peanut on the rail and were very calm and quiet, the squirrels would stop and look very cautiously, then sneak on over and they'd screw it up.
You missed it, buddy.
So the girls figured they'd give them a helping hand, keep them off the streets.
Technically, if you just get them inside a little more, for the price of maybe a few more peanuts, you could teach them to file.
There you go. You kind of can't help but, when they kind of react to you this way, participating in the fun.
Here in the land of the tree, home of the brave squirrels.
I'm afraid.
Come on.
I've never touched a squirrel before.
Well, of all the squirrel stories you've done, aren't ours the cutest?
The cutest, the boldest, and the fattest.
It's all the fun you can have for the price of a peanut.
There you have it.
Now, the ladies say the squirrels also enjoy grapes and corn. That's a better meal than I've had in weeks. Pretty square meal deal, especially for a mixed squirrel. I don't know. Coming up next on the Best of John Miller. A glass smashing machine with an appetite for green. We're back after this. Have you ever lost your wallet? Yeah, me too. Bill Kuhn did back in 2000. He'd all but gotten over it when he got a phone call from John Miller, who had gotten a phone call from the guys who found Bill's wallet. Sounds like a tailor-made happy ending, right? Not without one big shred of doubt.
This is Austin Albright's giant glass smashing machine.
Well, we process recycled glass.
Right, that involves a lot of grinding and chunking and smashing and conveyor belts and big machinery, huh?
Big machinery.
The good news is Austin's big machinery started spitting out big money.
This is what I saw first, that big $5 right there. I thought, boy, oh boy, I've got something now.
Then the good news got even better.
Yeah,
You're a rich man.
And I started counting, and there was $65 there altogether.
Of course, good news never comes without bad news. You lost your wallet, huh?
Yeah.
Turns out Austin Albright's gain was Bill Kuhn's loss at Western Recycling several weeks ago.
Well, I was putting a box of jars into the dumpster, and it was pretty near full. When I raised it up, it hooked on my pocket and unsnapped my shirt pocket, and the wallet went in, and I never saw it.
That dumpster wound up here at Austin's place.
But we found it anyhow. Yeah. This is the thing that's worse for wear.
Like all that glass, Bill's old pictures are in pieces.
Yeah, that's taken down there by Parma.
That's the bad news about Bill Kuhn's wallet.
I can't put it together.
The good news is the story's finally in one piece, and so are his most prized pictures.
That's a grandson, that's a grandson, that's a granddaughter.
You see, the best news about the journey of Bill's wallet, from its dumping to its digestion in the giant glass machine, is that it's not his only wallet. Bill carries a spare. And now the knowledge that it's not recyclable either. So next time...
I'll take this out and lay it in the seat of the car.
There you go.
Bill, put it in your pocket in your jeans. That's where you put the wallet. Bill gave the guys a big thank you and headed home to see if he could salvage those shredded $20 bills. That's going to do it for this edition of the Best of John Miller. Thanks for joining us. We're back next week with more of the best of the lovable, laughable, always likable John Miller.
Cue up the banjo music.
Idaho! How's it going?
She is cheating. Oh, man.
Revenge is sweet.
I'd say the odds of that happening with me are pretty much 0. Okay, 1% chance.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta be a little bit brave about it, man.
What is your your wife think about this thing?
I think she likes it. Walking on the moon is easier, I'll tell you that.
You're killing me.
You get to be like the Eddie Van Halen of pumpkin cannons, huh? Did you ever think maybe I should have made my chess set a little bit lighter?